Hi, I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And I'm Nuri Robles. And this is
Bar Talking
Bar, your access to the heartbeat of New York City's bar and hospitality scene.
Hosted straight from the city that never sleeps, we sit down with bartenders, brands and ambassadors, hospitality pros, and cocktail lovers.
Whether it's the art of bartending, the hustle behind hospitality, or the wildest bar tales, expect raw conversations and industry secrets.
Listen to the people who pour your favorite cocktails and keep the nightlife alive.
If you love bars, spirits, and the stories that bring them to life, follow us, share, and subscribe to keep the conversations flowing.
The podcast that you didn't know you need.
New episodes weekly.
Hi, welcome back to Bar Talking Bar.
Welcome and welcome back. My name is Nuri Robles.
And I'm Edgar Hernandez.
And thank you so much for watching another episode. Tonight, we have...
Today.
Oh.
This morning.
Oh, whatever you... Yeah. So we have a very interesting story because it's a love story. Right, Edgar?
Yes, it is. So a love story. We want to introduce our good friend, Patrick Narain.
Patrick Narain.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming, bro.
Yes. So this show, it's about bartenders, brand ambassadors, hospitality industry workers, and also cocktail lovers. And I believe, I don't know if you're a cocktail lover.
More like a whiskey.
I do have my favorites.
So I think this time I want Edgar to start telling the story because...
Well, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Yeah.
Before I ask you to introduce yourself so folks know what you do, who you are, and why we decided to bring you here to the podcast. Patrick is a good friend of ours. We were so honored to be part of the wedding with Jess, lovely wife. I've known them for a while. Patrick and his wife, Jess, were loyal, I'm going to say friends, but at the same time, they started coming during the pandemic to Freeman, a place that I've been working at for a while. So their love in our space as well. He fell in love with bourbon, and that's what today's story, we're going to call it our bourbon love story. Patrick, why don't you start by saying who you are, and we talk a little bit of why do you fall in love with bourbon?
So I used to be a health and fitness coach. Now I do t-shirt printing, and I do bourbon whiskey content reviews
on Etsy. I think you can also order. But I'm sorry, when we started, fell in love with bourbon. And you guys can check also his video on YouTube. He actually explains why he fell in love, how he fell in love. We want to hear your story here at the podcast. Want to know how one of the stories that really caught my attention was the part where you mentioned that the bartenders at this particular bar were kind of like acclimating your palate, so you were falling in love not only with the bourbon and the vast variety of bourbons that there are out there, but also the proofs. For folks who are only used to like 40%, which is the 80 proof, you started trying some of the 45, 47, 49, 107, and all of the above. Anything you can get basically your taste buds on.
Yeah, I mean they were very very knowledgeable about whiskeys and bourbons. So they were just slowly, gradually introducing me to all kinds of whiskey. And, it wasn't like going from 0 to 100. It was slowly from like you said, 90 proof to like a bottle and bomb, just 100 proof, and then slowly giving me stuff. But it was also like, and I didn't notice until later on that there are, even though there are high proof whiskeys out there, some of them don't drink that hot. You'll be surprised how smooth they are. So they know what they were doing. They were kind of saying, hey, try this. It's smooth. So they wouldn't tell me what proof it was or how it was. So that kind of threw me off. And I was like, okay, even though like I've always been hesitant about going, with higher proof stuff. But again, they wouldn't tell me, what it was, and I would be like, "Oh, this."
It was more like a blind tasting.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
they were giving you okay.
Well, I like to create stories, and I feel like, when you tell the audience who you are, also they can understand, your process of like being a lover of bourbon and whiskey, right? Are you from New York?
I pretty much grew up in New York.
New York City.
Yeah.
Yay.
The Bronx. I want to say the Bronx.
Yeah.
BX.
Well, it was Queens first, then the Bronx. So yeah, a little bit of both.
Oh, okay.
And how do you start in health in fitness?
I mean, I've always been into health and fitness, since I was, as far as I can remember. I don't know. I mean, I've been into martial arts since I was maybe, 6, 7 years old. And I mean, I didn't have any plans on being a coach. I wanted to fight and compete. But later on, that became a passion, because I think it was after my first fight, a friend reached out to me and he asked me if I could train him. And I started training him in the backyard of my landlord's garage.
Okay.
And that's how that started, that whole
And
thing.
that fight, it was a professional fight already?
It was amateur fight.
Oh.
But, I mean...
But amateur is considered pro, right?
Yeah, well, we were supposed to wear, headgear and all that stuff, but we didn't, so it was actually under professional rules.
Yeah.
So
I remember
it's
that
usually how it is.
And do you get like, because I like to, sometimes watching boxing and everything, but I, as a viewer or audience, sometimes it's very, I mean, scary to see how, you fight guys and you get your face like open and everything.
It's a lot about skill, but that's what bar training come from, like, and if you have a coach, if you understand the technique and it give you it's a motion of repetition, basically.
Yeah.
And I think once you understand that, I mean, for folks who don't understand what martial arts are, it's basically a repetition. Karate, boxing, kickboxing, anything that they do is called shadow boxing.
Yeah.
And, that's how people train. It's a hard sport, but it's also beautiful.
It's an art. Martial art is an art. You want to be good at it, you got to practice over and over again.
Because, I playing even with Edgar or my brother, like, sometimes you get kicked in your stomach and you're like...
I don't kick her.
I mean, just saying. But, I see you guys in fighting and, boxers, they get a lot of punches and they still kind of, complete. I'll be dead by the first job.
Well,
fight.
it depends, right? That's why you put your body into like that training, so you can, take punches.
Yeah, you gotta, I mean, as well, the training is always harder than the fight. So you gotta be prepared for that. Plus, I also had a challenge ahead of me, and the next day was my sister's wedding, so I had to make sure my face was in good condition for pictures.
No, my face.
That's what she told me. So
I'm an artist. Oh, I'm an actor. The artist, it's fine.
So I had to make sure I wasn't getting hit in the face.
And
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you again. So you finished the fight, and then you went to your sister's wedding, and where in this decision you decided to like, I like whiskey, or I mean, I'm sure you tried whiskey and all kinds of stuff, but when did this curiosity started? Was it instigated by somebody? Was it because you tasted something? Was it because of a movie or?
Yeah, it started with an old fashioned.
Oh yeah.
And it was, my wife, she introduced him to the old fashioned. And
shout out to Jess.
Yeah, thank you, Jess.
I don't want to say it was my first time having an old fashioned. I'm pretty sure I had it before, but I didn't acknowledge it as an old fashioned, because back then I didn't really, I was just drinking cocktails and beers and whatever. I didn't really have a thing, and I wasn't really paying attention to what I'm drinking, as long as it tastes good, right?
Exactly.
So that day, she said, "Hey, try an old fashioned," and then she did it. She didn't do it because it was something she liked. She thought that, hey, he likes chocolate, he likes sweets, maybe an old fashioned would be something he can like. And that's what got me slowly into it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you started drinking old fashions, and when did you start having like neat pours or without ice that you started?
Well, again, it's all her. She's a foodie, so she likes to explore a lot, and she's not like tied down to one thing where she says, okay, I like this and that's it. She's open to trying different things. So I think it was in New Orleans when we went there. I think the whole time I was drinking old fashioned, and then she was like, oh, you really like it. Maybe try bourbon neat. Try it neat, see if you like it. Try it on ice maybe, because, I didn't like harsh stuff. Because to me, when you're drinking whiskey and bourbon straight, it was like just taking a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but no, you have to sip it. I would just take it as a shot.
Like people do that with tequila as well.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's going to burn my throat. I don't want to do that. But she kept encouraging me. So I think I had a few drinks on ice. And then as I slowly built up tolerance, she said, try it neat. See what happens. So it was like a gradual thing,
You can always add, you can never take off.
Yeah, yeah. So she kept encouraging me to, don't stick to one thing, try to open up your mind and just give it a chance and see what happens. So that's how that happened.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. And how long this was? Like more than 2 years, more than 3 years?
In terms of what do you
like,
mean? Like
when you start like kind of going through, yeah.
That's the thing. I don't. I mean, probably 3 years.
3 years ago.
Yeah, maybe no. Like it took 3 years to really get into like just neat, no ice.
Okay.
Yeah, because you would just start building that tolerance.
Yeah,
sometimes
and I still had some hesitation too. But she was my motivation behind it.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking you this because I think we met, probably 4 years ago, something like that. And, I work in this industry. So I remember, because we also have another friends in common, that, when we get together.
We don't like the Rams.
We don't like.
I want to take that back. I didn't want to say it, but
I didn't say anything, okay? I didn't say anything.
They had to come out eventually.
In New York.
I'm a Jets
no,
fan.
you're a Saints fan.
Yeah.
She's a Giants? Jets fan?
No, Jets, excuse
Okay.
you. Excuse you.
I'm just a fan of a fan, I don't really follow football like that.
But, things like that, we always make fun of each other or whatever. And then, I see you drinking and you kind of I see you have this passion of I have this bottle, or you gave us some taste at your house and everything. And then obviously, the other guys will be like, oh, you have to learn how to drink, whatever, right? But it, my point is basically that I see you going from, drinking at your house with your wife or with us, into the point that you start making videos and you were more serious about it. And then I remember when you told us oh, but I'm going with this group also that they, every, hobby people have their own community. And it was very interesting because I felt like you are really put your passion in that, right? And then when you start, for example, you do hourglasses as well, because you do printing and stuff, and then you start printing the bourbon and merch. I feel like I felt when I said that Pat is really now it's in love, right?
So yes, from what I've seen, I mean, of course, this is you started in the martial arts industry. You did your fitness, and then eventually you ended up in love with bourbon and whiskeys in particular. And by the way, I just want to raise my glass and thanking you for coming today.
Cheers.
And cheers with whiskey.
Cheers.
Something a little bit warm for the weather and for the lovely wife as well. But yeah, I mean, of course, you have, your company, you do your own printed jacket, shirts, hoodies, glasses. I mean, you can do anything, coasters. So for those folks out there who are planning to celebrating or giving something out for the friends for Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is passed away. It's long gone. For Christmas, it's just crazy,
For events in general.
No, but when I walk around, exactly, even in September, and I see Christmas decorations already, I'm blown away. I'm like, It's not even Thanksgiving Day, bro.
Maybe next week we're gonna see the next year Halloween.
Oh, it's already probably Valentine's Day or whatever is the next holiday. Yeah, but of course, I mean, going back to that is you make your own
Brand.
your brand. We're thankful now that you brought us something today that you actually make. You make hats, you make all the things. I mean, they can probably check your page on Etsy.
Yeah, where people can find you on Etsy.
Print by Pat on Etsy.
We're gonna also put the social handles here, but it's nice because sometimes people who doesn't have the chance to watch YouTube, they can listen on Spotify, Apple, or any place that they listen. So
if you're running in fitness, you can listen to it though.
So then, where you cool.
Yeah. So all right. So you went to New Orleans, you started drinking more bourbon, more old fashions particularly, and then you started sipping. And then you mentioned you came back to New York and you found this place. Was it you who found it, or was it Jess who found it?
Jess found it. Again, she's
the coach.
She's the coach. She's the MVP.
And where is this place? What is the name of it?
It's called Sanford's. Okay. Sanford's in Astoria.
Cool.
Oh, shout out to Sanford in Astoria. Pat and Jess are really good. Always promoting the place. I've been there. It's lovely. I love the food and drinks. So amazing.
Great place. Just an amazing selection of whiskey. Bourbon, Scotch, Irish whiskey. Food's great. The staff is great. I mean, everybody there is very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
They're very welcoming. They're very. It has just positive energy.
Cool.
Well, talk to us a little bit about like your experience in there when you went there and you started drinking. What was the first selection or the first spirit you chose? Because I know you love Blanton's. And when we went to the Buffalo Trace Distillery, we tried to get a couple of Blanton's, but you couldn't get more than one bottle because by law down there, you can only get one bottle every 90 days per person.
Yeah.
So
really?
Yeah. One bottle every 3 months per person.
Yeah.
You have to give out your ID so they'll make sure.
And there is no way you go the next day and say like,
get another one.
Same driver license.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. And then, of course, well, tell us a little bit about that.
Your experience there.
At the Buffalo Trace?
No, at the
Sanford's. Well, so Jess found it. She went there a couple of times. And this is before COVID. This is before I really haven't had any interest in whiskey. She went there a couple of times. She had dinner there and wine after work. And I guess, she didn't really care to say anything about whiskey because I wasn't into whiskey. So I think it was after the pandemic. This is when I started now to get into whiskey, and then
we had
Blanton's.
Time. Yeah. We had the time to stop.
We did. Yeah. We had a couple of times we had lunch there outdoors when they had outdoor seating, but I still never went inside. So I didn't see, the whiskeys and stuff, but I still wasn't into that. And then when I got into it, she told me about it. She's like, hey, come to Sanford's. They got a really huge selection of whiskey, and they also have Blanton's, which at the time was my favorite.
And I remember you mentioned the gold top, right?
Yeah, that came a little after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'll come by, check it out, and it was like, wow. They have just, the back wall is just whiskey everywhere, everything. And I mean, the first whiskey I had was Blanton's.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that was my favorite. So that was the first one I had. And I kept drinking Blanton's every time I went there. It was always the first pour.
Okay.
And they knew that. They knew it to the point where I would go there and they see me walk in and they would just hand me the bottle.
So you became a regular.
Yeah.
With the same old.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I think how do you feel in that sense of like going to a place, they know you, they know what you like, and I guess they start knowing you by your name. How do you feel?
Yeah. It feels good. It shows that they took the time to acknowledge you. Hey, this guy likes this. He comes in all the time. He's a good customer. Him and his wife. Yeah, let's,
Yeah, let's remember.
So
it was a good experience.
Yeah, it's a great experience.
And did they, in any moment, they were like, we see you all the time drinking Blanton's. Do you want to try something else?
Oh
They
yeah,
guide you?
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, even Jess, every time she's like, try something different, try something different. Have your Blantons now, then try something different. So I guess I had like a little team. I had her, I had the bartenders. They would just kept encouraging me, try this,
Your
try.
corner.
Oh yeah, open, yeah, like that kind of thing. So it was cool. Yeah, it was cool.
Ready to go to Whiskey Philly.
Except I didn't have to do a lot of work, just less work.
Just glass lifting.
Just that's it. That was it.
So, do you remember? I don't know if it's too much, but do you remember what was the second option after Blanton's that you feel like, oh, this is good?
Well, I moved on to Eagle Rare.
Oh, the same distillery.
Eagle Rare was discovered Eagle Rare where we went to Kentucky
Yeah.
for the race, and at Buffalo Trace when we had the tasting, Eagle Rare was on there, and that was a good one. That was like really smooth, and I was like, oh, this is maybe a little bit smoother than Blanton's, but they didn't have any bottles left, so we couldn't get that. So then that was another one that I was drinking, and one of our friends introduced us to Basil Hayden. Alex told us about Basil Hayden. He said, hey, you ever had Basil Hayden? I said, no. And I looked into it. I was like, oh, it looks good. And that was another smooth one. So what I used to do is that was actually a lot lighter than the Blantons. So I used to have the Basil Hayden first because it was so light. And then I would go to the Blantons, and it kind of helped enhance the Blantons flavor. I was like, oh. It also helped me like recognize what Blantons taste like. So I got so used to the taste. So I would drink a Basil Hayden, and then I would go to the Blantons, and then, oh, that's Blantons. So it became a point where, like, if you give me Blantons blind, which Jess did a couple of times, I know what it is. I know it's a Blantons.
Cool.
Because it was always the first thing I had.
Yeah.
And so at this time, you start like more focus on, the flavors and texture. Do you have like that also feeling of, now I'm going to get books, or I'm going to start researching more instead of just trying, like tasting?
Yeah, I did. I actually bought a book. It's actually on Scotch. And it's Michael Jackson, not the singer Michael Jackson, but the whiskey guy Michael Jackson, yeah. One of my cousins, he told me about it. And so that was a book that I recently got at Barnes & Nobles. So I've been reading that, getting more into Scotch, learning about it. I also got the book you told me about, the Bourbon.
Yeah, the Bourbon. I forgot. No.
I got the name.
I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
I have it right here. I can't remember the name right now.
Bourbon History or something like that. Bourbon.
I can't remember.
Yeah, forgot the name.
Well,
but,
we come back with
yeah,
it.
but you told me about that. Yeah, you told me about that book, and I got that book from
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon.
Yeah.
And so that kind of helped me like learn more about the history. It really got, to me, it's more than just now about like drinking it and tasting it. It sparked interest that I want to learn more about it. The backstory about it, how it's distilled, how it's made, the history about it.
And why did you choose, like, for example, I like bourbon, but also I like rum. And, if I will choose, I will probably go sometimes more on bourbon. But, I'm not a passionate like you. But why you didn't choose another spirit?
Another spirit?
Yeah.
So, well, I used to drink gin and seltzer with lemon. Okay. But the reason I did that was because I wanted to cut back on sugar.
Okay.
So I didn't want to really have any sugary cocktails. So that became kind of a thing before the bourbon. And as far as vodka, tequila, I mean, there is some tequila that I've had by itself on the rocks or neat. They're okay. They taste good. I can drink it. But, for example, vodka gives me a bad headache. So I'm not a fan of drinking vodka.
So it's flavorless.
Yeah, exactly. As far as wine. Wine has a lot of sugar, and it gets me very dehydrated the next day. So I can have maybe half a glass, but that's it. Anything else, well, this is always just something that I can't agree with.
It was also part of your fitness that you were like looking what could be less.
Right, trying to limit myself from, just having mostly like having a lot of cocktails with sugars.
Okay.
So.
But then you decided like, okay, no more gin, but bourbon or.
Yeah, so again, she went.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Not that gin is bad, but like it's a preference too.
Yeah, and I mean, I've never had a bad experience or after experience, with gin. And now that I'm into whiskey and bourbon, I can drink whiskey, bourbon neat all day, and I'll wake up feeling fine. But if I have it in a cocktail, like an old fashioned, which I do love, and I have to limit myself with the old fashioned, the sugar really gets to me the next day. And that's the huge difference. Yeah. So that's one thing that also like really makes me love bourbon even more, is because I can drink it and it doesn't really, as long as it's neat, no mixing, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, and also you want like, especially if it's a high-end bourbon, something that has been aged more than 4 years, you want to enjoy it, you want to sip it, you want to,
right. Yeah, taste
it, and of course, if you're having it with a meal, what a better way to pair it, because sometimes people think that wine, you can only pair wine with food, but basically you can pair anything. You can pair tequila, mezcal, even vodka, anything you can pair it with dinner, and it'll be great. Yeah. It just depends on what you're eating at the particular moment and what kind of food, what are you drinking and what are you eating at the same time, because you can have a really good steak with a nice glass of whiskey. You can have a really nice piece of chicken with a glass of whiskey. It doesn't have to have barrier. There's not a law that says you cannot have it, and enjoy it at the same time.
Yeah. Especially
in New York. You go anywhere else and you find a nice whiskey. And also there's some rare whiskeys that you cannot find. I think you mentioned you were hanging out one day at Allen. This is a small whiskey place. They only serve whiskey. And you told me you were hanging out there a long time ago. I don't know if you recall that part, but...
In the Lower East Side?
It's in the Lower East Side. I can't remember that little place.
Copper and Oak?
I think it's Copper and Oak, yeah.
I like that place. It's a very interesting place. When we first found it, it's at, I think it was me or my wife, I don't remember, but we looked at it and...
There's only whiskey there.
Only whiskey, and there's no ice. No cocktails. It's just neat. The only thing you could probably do is just add a couple of drops of water.
Okay.
Which I found interesting. I've never heard of a place like that. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go check it out. I think it'll probably be a perfect place for me to explore more whiskeys and do some more reviews. So I like that place a lot.
That's nice. I remember we went to the Angels MB distillery in Louisville, Kentucky, and we had some of that really good whiskey there too. We tried some of the bourbon and some of the rye. Mm-hmm. We got to see a little bit of like what was going on behind the scenes in terms of like production. But when we went to the Buffalo Trace, we got to see the bigger picture. We went to the packaging side, we went to the cooperage, and then we went to the rick houses.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. The smell, the cheese. I was blown away.
Yeah.
And that was when, like, 3 years ago?
No, that was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember, honestly.
No, I think it was in 2021.
Yeah, something like that.
Or 22.
I think it's 2021.
22, I think it was 22.
Yeah.
At least 3 years.
For the
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Three.
The Kentucky, we're talking about like the Kentucky bourbon, Ragnar. Bourbon Chase. That was crazy. That was a crazy experience. Thank you, Alex, for getting us into that, honestly. Yeah. I thought it was 5 miles, dude.
So then when you finish, then you start going to the distilleries. Which ones were it?
No, so we finished, we didn't finish that day. That was a Saturday. Saturday, and we finished Sunday. Because I think it was 12 of us. We finished sometime around 6, 7, I would say 5, 6 p.m., something like that.
Yeah.
And it was, but at this point, all the group is at the finish line. And so we all run together with Captain,
Yeah.
Shout out to the Empire State Bootleggers also, by the way. We're talking about them right now, bringing this story. But yeah, so this is, we'll tell you took us to Bourbon County and wanted to go drink some whiskey. We got to hang out in Louisville for a little bit. We went to the Kentucky Derby. We had some old fashions there, actually, by the way.
Yep.
We toured around a little bit. We went to Louisville, went to the Angel's Envy distillery, and then we tried to go to the Métis, but we couldn't go. And by the way, we're drinking right now. So.
It was your first time at the distillery, like Bourbon distillery?
Yeah, it was my first time there.
And in that time also you were into bourbon already.
Yeah.
So how do you feel?
That was when Blanton's was my number one. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get like 10 bottles of Blanton. Not knowing the disappointment of you can only get one per person. So I was lucky enough to at least get two.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So
one for you and one for Jess.
Yeah.
But the one for Jesse for you.
That's so cool. So when
how it goes.
Yeah, at least. So tell us a little bit about your when you start like feeling, you know what, I'm a coach, I'm doing the printing, but I want to start making videos for these.
It just came random. Like I see all these videos. I mean, eventually I wanted to do something remote. Mm-hmm. So, I used to see all these videos with people doing reviews of food and whatnot, going places, stuff like that. And I'm like, that'd be something nice to do. I wasn't thinking about bourbon then, but I was like, what can I do? Maybe I can do the first thing I thought about was chocolate, because I love chocolate. But I'm like, how much chocolate can I eat? Right? I mean, that's not going to be good. So then I did also think about doing like a gym thing. And I still want to also do that maybe later on in the future. Like going to different gyms and just, talking about it and, hey, this is one of the best gyms in New York City and whatnot, stuff like that. But then I'm like, yeah, that's going to be exhausting. How many I can only go to the gym once a day, maybe, a couple times a week. If I want to do a lot of content, it's got to make more sense. Yeah. So then I'm like, well, I'm getting into this whiskey thing. I think it'll be nice to do, bourbon whiskey content. And at that time, I didn't see anybody doing bourbon whiskey content. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
it was more about cocktails, right?
Yeah, it was like cocktails and stuff like that. So I decided, let me just, do something with TikTok and start doing bourbon reviews. And then the first review, of course, was at Sanford's, because that's when I started doing all that stuff. I'm like, it's the perfect place. It's literally my backyard, and it's just easy to go to. I can definitely do a couple reviews.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to buy the whole bottle. Either.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Take a seat.
So I think everything it kind of felt like everything kind of came together. Mm-hmm. It just blended together, and it was like the right thing to do for me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, for me, honestly, I was like blown away when you said like, oh, you know what, I'm doing these reviews, but also, I found, or someone texts you or send you a message about, the community. How do you find that community?
The bourbon community.
Uh-huh. Man, honestly, I don't even remember. I just started, I guess, I did find, man, when I started doing bourbon whiskey reviews, I started getting followers. Okay. And it was like probably the fastest growing social media platform that's gotten so big for me, because people were just following me, commenting on my reviews, and I'm like, oh, there's more people doing this stuff. Yeah. And I didn't know. I'm like, because when you're searching stuff, you're not going to really see it. And then there's this whole bourbon whiskey community that I never knew about. And then I started meeting these people. When I started going live, I started meeting a couple of people on there that introduced me more to like the bourbon community on TikTok. And I was like, oh, wow, there is something like this here.
Super
and
cool.
It was kind of intimidating at first, because you see all these guys with like hundreds of bottles in their collection, and I didn't even start my collection yet. So it was like, wow, and they were so welcoming. You didn't have to have like thousands of followers or anything like that. They were just like, oh, another bourbon guy, follow him, it's
Give you
nice
support.
review. Yeah. So it was very encouraging. It was intimidating, but also it was encouraging. So it pulled me in really fast.
That's so cool. And I mean, obviously, I've been seeing like just with you and, being part of like these stations and everything. And I guess, it's very, I think, lovely when you have a partner in crime, and how also she was part of the, the process of being like, more involved.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that?
I mean, I can't ask for anything better. And I mean, I think it's I got lucky to meet someone that special, and she didn't try to make me like what she likes, like I tell people, like, she got me into bourbon and whiskey, but she's not a bourbon whiskey
Person.
drinker like me. She likes her sake and her wine, mostly sake, but she just, like, herself, she wanted me to find something. Hey, what do you like? Not say, hey, she could have said, hey, try sake, and me bring you over to the sake side.
Yeah.
But she didn't. She said, hey, okay, he likes this, he likes that. Maybe, let him try this. And, she just wanted me to find myself, discover myself.
And now that you feel like more confident, I guess, like now you can recommend Jess to say to your wife, now you can drink this because of this and that. Do you feel that confident?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I do, of course. It's definitely mind blowing. It's, I guess, like, for some people, they don't have it in them, and that's me as well, to like go out there and do things yourself, or be that open-minded to try things. And sometimes you kind of, you need someone to come along and say, hey, give you that little push and be like, hey, there's more to life than this and this.
Yeah. You just do it.
Yeah, just don't think about, hey, I'm going to do this one day, I'm going to do that one day. Just do it.
Exactly.
Just go do it.
Yeah, that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
We're just doing it. Yeah.
And so then when you start finding, all this community and you start going with them, what was your taking on that? Like, where places did you go? Only New York or somewhere else?
It was mostly New York. Yeah, pretty much New York. Yeah.
And
New York.
But you recently did a trip to Kentucky.
My first trip. So Jess got me she got me tickets to the Kentucky Bourbon Fest.
Oh, cool.
This past September.
Yes.
That was my Christmas gift last year. So I had a whole year to wait for that.
Oh.
So it was like,
like
it was
a
a
kid.
nice build up. It was like, oh man, I'm going here. So, but it was good. It was perfect. I mean, it was definitely the best experience that she made happen for me. So yeah, I wish it was longer. But
So this happens every year, like once a week
every year.
in Kentucky.
Every year. Yeah.
Kentucky Bourbon Fest.
And for people who are like, into bourbon, but they don't want to be reviewers, but what parts of the city could you recommend, or places that they can go and, have the places that you've been, for example?
In New York City?
Yeah.
Well, definitely Safford's. Safford's, I mean, it's more than just whiskey. They also have an amazing wine collection. Scotch, Irish whiskey, cocktails are great. Food's good. There's also more whiskey, like Copper and Oak, of course. Just pure whiskey. The Parlor Room is another place. They have a huge selection of whiskey and bourbon. Great cocktails as well. Food is good. It has a nice, like, speakeasy 1920s vibe to it. So if you like that kind of stuff, you're going to love this place. There's a few other places. Freeman Alley. I love that. I love the fact that you guys are doing more whiskeys and stuff too. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always a great time with you there. So that's the place that you definitely want to check out is Freeman's.
Yeah, Freeman's.
If you're in New York City, you got to check out Freeman's. And make sure Edgar's your bartender. He's the best bartender. I mean, this guy can put together a cocktail off the top of your head.
Yeah, that's I think that also that you mentioned that his experience, like, we can also talk about your experience. Like, now you can come with ideas of like, maybe I want to try this with this food because this bourbon has this, or this brand has this profile, right? I guess.
Right.
Yeah, because bourbon and chocolate is a really good tasting.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you were mentioning that, and it was like, I just thought about like a dessert, and I was like, oh, maybe a dessert, like have a couple bites of something, and sip on a nice whiskey. It's so many ideas you can come up with it, and also depends a lot of the weather. Because for me, I do drink whiskey, but I tend to drink more whiskey during the winter because it's warmer.
Yeah.
During the summer, I normally do like any other spirits. Honestly, I don't have a favorite. I do like to taste different things just for the sake of information and education. But that's how basically I got to expand my palate. But I think that's what you're doing is great because you sip in different spirits, different houses, different barrels, different ages, different brands. And then you get to taste the difference because everybody has a particular taste, particular blend.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're, good, bad, or it's just that they're different. And that's what they make it for different folks, because some folks don't like something super warm. So they want something light and, with a medium body, perhaps to make it use a whiskey soda. If you want some more body to sip it and, probably smoke a cigar and, like that's what we do, smoke a cigar, sip some whiskey, chill right in front of a fire pit, especially around this season.
Yeah.
Cold weather, so it's great. I mean, it just depends on it's also part of imagination, right? What would I do with this? Would I take my best bottle to my friend? Simple as that.
We can take all the bottles you want. To your recommendations.
You mentioned food. Even now, I'm slowly becoming a foodie again because of my wife, Jessie. She's a foodie.
Thank you, Jess.
So
thank you for bringing him to the dark side.
That also kind of helped me. I feel like that also kind of helped me early on. When we first met, she took me to tasting menus. So I think that also kind of helped me develop my palate, tasting different things, and also like looking at food differently. Like I said, like acknowledging it more and saying, oh, what does this taste like? Do you like it? Do you not like it? So I think that really played a huge part in helping me like get good at, picking up tasting notes in whiskeys and bourbons. So I always look forward to like, even today, if you go to tasting menus, I'm like, yeah, I know, try to think of what this tastes like because tasting notes, bourbon is so subjective.
Yeah.
You're doing tasting notes is basically, what it reminds you of, right? Because if you never smell something before, you're not going to say, oh, I got this because I don't know what that smells like. So for me, I feel like it's so subjective because it's like when you smell it, what does it remind you of? Does it remind you of your favorite dessert or something like that?
Yeah, because it's also what happens with wine, right? I remember once I was watching this documentary about the sommeliers, and then one of them, he was like smelling and I was like, it reminds me like when you open a case of brand new tennis ball, right? Or someone else said like, this reminds me of this particular fruit. But if you're not part of that country that they have this fruit, how, like you said, how do I want to know that?
Yeah,
right?
you never smelled it before. You don't know what that smells like.
That's when I go to something very simple that I can probably recommend folks who are just getting into like tasting it and like, recognizing flavors. I always say, if you go to a supermarket, as simple as going to the supermarket, grab an apple, put it closer to your nose. You don't have to eat it. Just put it close and then grab it and then grab a peach and then grab a banana. And then when you sip something, especially whiskey, I always relate bananas with bananas Foster and with whiskey in my head. For some reason, it's caramelization, butter. Some of the whiskeys are silky but warm. And it has some sort of like hard spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, whatever. Like honestly, like flavors are subjective, but it's also endless. You can come up with like whetstone. Something that it doesn't have to really make sense, and there's not a law that says, "Oh, this doesn't taste like whetstone." Yeah. Because remember, there's charcoal that filters it.
Do you have like a bad experience with a bourbon or whiskey?
I did have one bad experience. This was a while back. We went to, I think was it during Halloween or Christmas? I don't remember. But it was one of those times we went to this place and they had this bourbon. So I'm attracted to the dark looking bourbon because it's got it's got a lot of flavor. It's really good.
It's gotta be aged.
Yeah. And there was one that I think it was it said double chocolate something. So the fact that it says chocolate caught my eyes. So I'm like, oh yeah, let me try this. It was not what I expected. It was like drinking syrup.
Ooh, super sweet.
It was, super sweet. You couldn't even tell what proof, if it even had any alcohol. But I was so surprised by it because I'm like, oh, this looks so good. But
the taste is different.
Wow, I couldn't even finish it. It was that sweet. And I'm a sweet tooth. But it was just, it was not,
It was syrup.
For a whiskey.
Interesting. Never had that. But
And
good to hear.
do you have the opportunity to visit any distillery here in New York?
We visited the Great Jones. Great Jones. That was one of them.
What do you think? Do you like it?
So, might have to revisit that one.
Okay.
Because the first time I visited that one, I think I was in the beginning stage, still tasting whiskey. And there wasn't any one that I really liked in particular. So I think maybe if I go back, it might be a different experience, but it didn't really blow me away to say that, hey, yeah, I want to go back. But again, I was in a different,
stage.
Yeah. No, and the cool thing about this distillery, the Great Jones Distillery, is that you go out downstairs to kind of like a basement section, and they have a really nice tasting room with a couple of barrels on the sides, and they talk to you a little about history. Fun fact, from what I've heard, I don't know if this is actually 100% fact, they used to have boxing fights on the ground, like back when
the Prohibition.
Yeah, he was telling us a story about a tunnel or something like that.
Yeah, there's a tunnel right
back in the days.
You can hear the train running.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the story. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but
please help us with that.
Yeah.
Help us
find out.
Find out biography.
I mean, apart from the bourbon, the whiskey, the tour it's definitely a great tour. It's definitely a good tour.
Well, I'll definitely recommend you go into the Widow Gin Distillery. We just had in our previous episode, we had Garrett, and he talked about the bourbon, the whiskeys, why is it what they make it here. But I would recommend visiting that. I mean, since it's in New York, and there's Kiss County also in Brooklyn, so it's a couple of New York distilleries that we can.
We also went to the Fort Hamilton distillery recently. I think last year.
That's last year.
Yeah. That was nice. It was simple, but it was nice.
Yeah,
it was really good.
Place, yeah.
And I remember we also went to, if you remember, the Hudson.
Oh, the Hudson Valley. Yeah. That was upstate.
Yeah.
With Julio. Shout out to Julio and Maria, by the way.
That was a nice experience.
Yeah.
And it was perfect weather too. It was cold.
We love you, Julio. I want to ask you to during your videos and does any brand contact you yet? Or like a brand ambassador or something? Or just,
no,
aficionados like you? Or...
No, not really. No.
Not yet.
Not
yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe one day.
That's part of the process, once I ask you because if you have, maybe you can share that experience, but if you haven't, it's okay. Eventually you start also growing your social media followers, you start following other people, and then networking gives you that part of trying to, also you can reach brands and they say, I'm doing this, maybe they can invite you too. But, I feel like you're in the right path.
Definitely something that,
you're in the right path.
Yeah. Definitely something I would look forward to. I mean, as long as you're not a Rams fan, you're on the good path.
Well, this is for our friend, okay? No other fans.
Let me put a little bit of whiskey. Let me put a little bit of whiskey in your glass before we hear.
Let me help you here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, maybe one day. It's not something that I'm looking I would look forward to it, but not like a main goal.
Yeah.
I think, doing these reviews and being part of this bourbon whiskey community, I like the fact that everybody, shares their knowledge about it. Nobody, even though you like something different, everybody's got their differences. There's no negativity. Nobody's, pointing fingers saying, oh, you don't know about whiskey. Oh, you're not drinking the right stuff, or how you should drink your whiskeys. I mean, yeah, we do have some of those people, but it's a very small percentage. For the most part, it's like everybody just loves sharing their opinion, whether you agree with it or not. And that's what I like about it. It's like, this is really cool. You can talk about bourbon and whiskey, and it creates that relationship. It creates friendship and kind of like a family kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's part of the conversations. Always like, like this say of like we can agree and disagree, and there are people that they don't even have the knowledge to critique, and it's kind of like you don't take it personal either, right? Because you're doing it publicly, and sometimes the people that are in your same circle in your same page is the ones that you want to also hear and follow. But in order to bring other people, that when you create positive reviews, there's other people that are going to follow you because they want to learn too, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you are doing your reviews and everything, you will have also followers that they feel more comfortable with you, the way you speak, the way you explain, that probably with other people, but that doesn't mean that you're better or they are wrong, right? So that's the cool part of like doing this.
Yeah. I mean, there was one thing I that really hit me when we were at the Kentucky Bourbon Fest. We had a nice dinner at Fred No's house in his backyard. Another big surprise from Jess.
Nice.
And I didn't even know where it was. She said it's at some house or some distillery. And we're in the backyard of Fred No's. And I'm like, this is awesome. This is cool. And they had Michter's. They had Master Distiller Michter's, Preservation, Makers, Pappy. Who else? Four Roses. And they were all there sharing their story. And they were talking about a time when I think one of the distilleries, they had caught fire or something like that, and they lost a lot, and they all came together to help them.
Oh yeah, I remember
right? Even though they're a competition, it just showed that bond. Regardless if they're your competition, they still came together and helped them get back on their feet.
Yeah.
So to me, I thought that was special. It showed that it really brings people together. Regardless if you're in competition with somebody, they're still going to be there because it's like without each other, it's just not the same.
Exactly.
So I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, and that also reminds me to like, technically now you're part of the hospitality industry, right? Because you are getting into that sense of like giving reviews to get in the places that they offer the, hospitality. And that's one of the main goals in this industry is that, we help each other. And also having your story, I think, is very important and it's very cute also because it was part of
you.
It's a love story.
Yeah, it's a love story.
It's a bourbon love story, but not only because of you fell in love with bourbon, but because you love your
I met the love of my life that started that journey. That's what it was.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, just can you review this for us?
Michter's Barrel Strength Toasted Barrel Finish. It's a rye and it's 107 proof. All right, let's see. Definitely get the rye spices. There's some vanilla notes. I get a hint of the mic.
I did that too.
Yeah. I do get the oak. There's some oak in there. It's what I like to call, there's a little bit of caramel. I like to call it the VOC, vanilla, oak, and caramel. It's more on I'm going to say it's more vanilla and oak.
Yeah.
And I get a little hint of like leather. Got a tiny hint of leather.
It's definitely get the caramel in the leather. But it's just a toasted barrel, so it's toasted a little bit longer than the usual.
Yeah, the palate, nice palate, sweet. The rice spices are not too heavy. I think it's really nice. Definitely get that toasted. There's oak. I do get that leather on the back end. It's a nice like medium finish. It's not too harsh. It's just and it lingers for a while. It's definitely
Somebody
good.
call it the wrong way.
Yeah, long way. They call it a Kentucky hug.
The Kentucky.
Yeah, and so it's got like a medium Kentucky hug.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like
But yeah,
this.
this is great. This is a good rye.
Well, let's cheer.
Cheers. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you so much.
Cheers to sharing your story.
Very proud of you as
Thank
well.
you guys.
Thank you. No,
It's a pleasure being on here. I really appreciate it.
No, and for all folks who want to reach out to Pat and get some swag for your friends, for your family,
For your business.
for your business, for your team if you want, because I know you'll make it also for teams. Reach out to him. He'll personalize your or customize your print, and just reach out to Print by Pat.
Yep.
That's
Everything is
also-
made by me.
That's also your Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, everything. Print by Pat, Instagram, Print by Pat, TikTok,
And then Bourbon Pat.
and Bourbon Pat as well. Yeah, Bourbon Pat, TikTok, Instagram,
All right, we're gonna share the
and
handles.
YouTube.
That's
Yay.
right. Follow all the Instagram handle. The social media handles.
Yes, and you have the opportunity to also see his good videos and learn more about what he's learning to and wants to share with you guys. Well, thank you so much. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and as always, please help us to share this. Please like it, subscribe it, and
Comment. Say something.
Yes.
Say something.
And yeah, let us know your thoughts about if you want to give us ideas. And thank you, Edgar, for another episode.
Thank you for another episode.
Yes. And
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
yeah, teamwork here.
1, 2, 1, 2. I had to throw up for the fans.
Yes. Well, don't forget to tip your bartender, and also if you wanna donate something, remember we have buy a coffee for us. So you're gonna see the link over there, and we'll see you next episode. Thank you.
See you later, alligator.
Yes.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Cheers. Ching ching.
That's ching ching.
Ching ching. Ching ching.
Yay.